Good morning and welcome to The Foil. This is Danny Cohen, and I'd like to take this time to thank my buddies on the Defending Big D boards. So there's some great hockey talk over there, and it's a great community if you're looking to get knowledgeable about everything Dallas Stars. Go check them out. They've been very informative and very supportive of what I've been doing here, so thank y'all, and let's get into it. So the Stars score first. They never look back. We have 7 goals on 19 shots to win 7-0 against the Canadiens. DeSmith with the shutout. He's had 2 great performances in a row with a combined .981 save percentage and stopping 54 of his last 55 shots in those 2 games. On the season, he's now .913, so great job by DeSmith. We had our first fighting major in over a dozen games, and you know I'm excited about that. We'll talk about that. Robo is back. He is back strong, and we also had a brutal injury for the on this game that we'll talk about. But before we do, take this time to subscribe, comment, share, text this, print it off, fax it, do whatever you've got to do to help me get the word out about this show. I appreciate y'all. So the shots on the game were 25-19 Montreal, or rather 24-2019, but it didn't matter because everything that we shot went in the net, and we only had a couple goals that you could say might have been lucky, maybe 1 or 2. So a lot of it was just really good, skilled execution on our end. So Dobish put up a .615 save percentage before getting plucked from the game after the second period, and then Montembeault didn't do much better. He put up a .667, so they stopped less than 1/3 of the rubber that was fired at them. We had a couple milestones in the game, with Miro getting 300 points and Wyatt getting 100 goals. This win made it 4 in a row for us. We now have points in 11 of 12 games. We are on fire. We've got a sort of a reverse curse of what was going on in Ottawa with Montreal, where we've now won 6 or 7 in a row in Montreal. So that stings for them over there. And what a way to end the streak of only 1 goal wins with this +7 goal differential. And with that, we actually finally have a positive goal differential that we've not had since the early stages of this season as a whole. So good for us. We're moving in the right direction. Also moving in the right direction was 6 out of our 7 goals were even strength, which has been one of the areas where you could say that this team has struggled. Is they've had a power play that's really kept them afloat for most of the year, and their even strength has been less than desirable. Well, tonight we reversed the trend there, so hopefully that continues. We were 64% on the face-off dot tonight, so just tearing it up there. Our penalty kill, which is also like even strength, has been an area of weakness for us all year. We've been in the bottom 6-7 teams in terms of that for the entire season. Well, we've now killed 10 straight. We've not allowed a power play goal in 3 full games, so we're doing great there now as well. We won a lot of puck battles all game. On an individual basis, Robo is totally out of his slump with 2 goals and 1 assist tonight. He now has 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points in the last 2 games. 3 points a game is pretty solid work. And you could say what you will about Robo. The guy's a streaky goal scorer. And when he is on, he is on. And everything that he shoots at the net just about goes in. And we're in the on stage now with him. So that is fun, and hopefully that continues and he can rack up some more points and help us get some more wins here. So Dallas went 33% on the power play, which is right in line with what we've been doing pretty much all year round. Faksa had his best game of the year with 3 assists. I know a lot of people kind of rag on Faksa, and I can understand when you look at him some games, he's not super noticeable. But I'll tell you what, he's not noticeable because he's not making mistakes out there most of the time. And tonight he had a lot of good plays. Outside of his assists, I noticed him all over just making good, subtle plays. And if there's one word that I could describe Faksa with, it would be subtle. He's not that player that is going to dangle and do all these fancy things that make you love him in that regard. But the more you watch Faksa, the more you will like Faksa. So do a play-by-play on him and take a look at him over the course of a game, and you'll see what I'm talking about if you just zero in on what he does. Blackwell had another great game. He has been on it for a good handful of games now. He had 1 goal and 1 assist. Rantanen keeps it going with 2 assists on the night. Harley, I am happy to say, had a very good game. He ends the scoring drought in his 6th game without a point by getting 1 tonight, and he did good things all over the ice. I saw some good things defensively for him. Turns out he's been working his way through some kind of minor injury, so that kind of explains the last handful of games, what's been going on with him. So if we can get him back up and running along with everybody else in our core that is just tearing it up right now, we are going to be damn near unbeatable. Wyatt is still on a 50-goal pace, just doing his thing all year round. It's been so consistent all year. Miro's 4 straight multiple point game streak ends. He still got a point on the night though, so he has now a team leading 5-game point streak and just looked great in all zones tonight. Vintage Miro. So Bastian is back in the lineup, and man, that guy needs to do something. He's got a little time with the injuries that we have right now, but I thought I would see more of him after having been sat out for a while. I didn't. I'm not seeing a player who he was brought in to bring a little physicality. He doesn't seem like he can hit very effectively, which is surprisingly for a guy of his size. But, he'll take a run and just there's just no concussive effect whatsoever to what he does. He's only had 1 goal in 14 games. We're now about a quarter of the way almost through the season. So the clock is ticking on Bastian, and we probably need to be looking, in my eyes, somewhere else when it comes to bringing a forward with that grit on the bottom lines. So that might have to come via trade, because I don't think we have really anybody in the system that can do what we really need on the bottom lines there. So Bichsel, speaking of physicality, he had a great game, 5 hits. He led the team in that category. He just is returning to the form that we saw in the playoffs last year, and man, is it great to have him on your third pairing the way that he's playing. The AHL line had a good night. They weren't always together, but they did well. Ritzkovian had 1 assist, nearly 15 minutes of ice time. Bourque looked good as well. He's slowly getting back up to form. I know he still has more in the tank than what we're seeing here, but he nonetheless had 1 assist and nearly 16 minutes of ice time. So good for them. As we go into the second period, as we go into the first period, they start with the AHL line. They did so because both Ritzkovian and Bourque are from the Montreal area. So this was a classy move by Goaltenders. You'll love to see that. I'm sure that they were so excited to be playing there. DeSmith looked sharp from the very start of the game. He made a stop off a deflection early in the game. Bichsel takes an interference call. It was kind of a BS call, and we end up killing the penalty. Lyubushkin had a great power steal behind the net on that penalty kill, and he's been impressing me for the last little bit here. He, there was at times last year where he struggled. He's been one of our most steady defensemen this year. You don't see a lot of mistakes from him in the early goings of this season. DeSmith then had a stop on a Jake Evans shot all alone with Dallas on the power play. And then on that power play, we get our first goal. It was Johnston on a tic-tac-toe triangle play. Mikko on the right side to Hintz. Who's low to Wyatt in the slot, who shoots it high blocker, and a goal. So that is 1-0. Faksa later in this period has a good puck evasion protection move in the D zone, dodging a couple Habs who were attempting to steal the puck. This is one of those subtle things that he does most nights that you can see where he contributes by not making that mistake and not having that turnover that a lot of players would have. So shots are 14-5 Habs late in the first, and we later see some good pressure on a brief cycle from the AHL line. Nothing comes of it, and we get out of the first period. Lucky to have a 1-0 lead, to be honest. And then we start kicking it into gear in the second period. So the second period, we have a great D-zone steal by Wyatt on Lane Hudson when he was taking it to the hole, and Wyatt was chasing him from behind. Just an amazing pickpocket play there. And later we would get a goal, our second of the game, from Lindell. And here Faksa contributes as well by first protecting the puck well deep in the O-zone, kind of like Yager light. And he gets it to Blackwell, who then gets it back to Faksa, who makes the smart play in traffic with three guys on him. And he makes the right read and makes this backhand pass to Lindell, finds the right chest move to make, and then, and you thought that Faksa was going to be trapped. Most players probably would have turned the puck over here. Again, like what I'm talking about before, he just does subtle, good stuff. And then Lindell gets it to Heiskanen, who shoots it, and it gets blocked by Kirby Dach, who's hurting on the play. And then Heiskanen gets the puck back and passes it into the slot to Lindell, who puts it low blocker and a goal. Maybe this one was stoppable. They didn't get the stop, and we are up by 2. And then we have a scary, scary injury. Luckily, it was not to a Dallas star. Alex Newhook gets tripped up going in as they're heading into the inboards, and he ends up going skates first into the wall, and he broke his ankle. Just snapped it. Ugly, ugly injury. There was a penalty on the play for Lyubushkin for tripping. It was not a purposeful type of deal. But, man, it's scary when you see that. And he went off, helped off by a couple guys. Honestly, I was surprised that he took it like a champ with all things considered there. That had to hurt. So that guy's going to be out for a while, and the Habs have to hate to see that. So then later in the period, we get another goal. We're now up 3-0 after the penalty had expired to Lyubushkin for that injury play. Bichsel with the strong stiff arm separation from the Hab player in the D zone and makes a short pass to Robo, who then sends a beauty of this low flip sauce pass, very light touch to a streaking Seguin who got behind the D, and Seguin shoots it low blocker from the hash marks for the goal. And so we're now up 3-0. We get a big PK from the Stars with less than half of the period left. This is where the Habs really needed one to stay in the game. They didn't get it on that PK. We had a hard-working takeaway again by Faksa in the neutral zone, just doing his thing. Bichsel on the PK has a couple hits. A nice poke check by DeSmith. I love that skill. That's something that Oettinger really doesn't do. I wish he would. But it's kind of that old school stuff that we used to see, especially from Marty Turco. And it really helps prevent a lot of shots on goal. So then we get another goal. Robo. This time Harley with the stop along the boards in the D zone starts this play. He cuts off the Hab, and then with a stabbing poke check, it gets up to Rantanen, who skates it up and hits the brakes to get a little separation from the Hab in the O zone. And then he makes a sauce pass to Harley, who's pinching, while Robo extends his leg to stay in the zone. I thought maybe it would be offside. He didn't make it an offside play on that one. Good on him. It's a 2-on-1 with Robo and Harley at this point, and Harley gives it back to Robo below the hash marks. And Robo skates it towards the net, and then just in a beautiful, smooth, quick, deft play, he backhands it over Dobish, and then Robo gets pushed into the boards by Hudson. The Habs are understandably frustrated at this point, and Robo goes crashing into the rear wall after the goal. There was really no pushback there. I kind of wish there was, because it was a dangerous play as he went sideways head first into the boards. Luckily, it wasn't like a dart head first. Otherwise, he could have been really hurt there. Still could have gotten hurt on it though. So I wish there was a little bit of a face wash or something to let him know, hey, you do not do that to RoboCop. So anyway, next time, guys, we got 4 goals on 12 shots at this point in the game, and we get another one. This time, Robo gets it again, so bang, bang for Robo. This time it's a line of Robo, Ritzy, and Bourque, and Lian starts this play kind of accidentally. It looked like he was trying to pass it, and it goes off a forechecking Habs stick, and it turns into a dump play off of that deflection. Ritzy chases it down, and Bourque takes it behind the net, curls around with the puck. Nice play on him there. Dishes it back to Ritskovian, who is now behind the red line, passes it along the wall to Robo, who turns butt first to the Hab to protect the puck, and then skates away, and then behind another Hab and hooks around towards the center of the ice, where he then shoots the puck through traffic. I have no idea how it got through. It does, and things are clicking for Robo now. The chances keep coming for the Stars after that, and we have several good plays by Heiskanen. One where it was a deking play through the traffic in the offensive zone, then one in the D zone where he strips the puck leading to a zone exit, and just really good stuff from Heiskanen, elite stuff. We go into the third period. Montembeault is now in net. They've seen enough out of Dobish. I think he's taken enough of a beating by this point in the game, and they felt the same way. Most of them probably really weren't even his fault. Maybe one of those. But then Bichsel along the wall here gets a zone exit pass along the boards to a Stars player in the neutral zone, who gets it to Faksa again, who gets the zone entry and makes this nice spinorama backhand pass to a pinching Petrovic, who shoots the puck through traffic, high blocker, and a goal. Bastian then shoots the puck back in the net for good measure, just to make sure that it was in. I love that. That was the best thing that Bastian did all game. And Everybody's getting goals right now. You get a goal, and you get a goal, and you get a goal. We're up 6-0. Seguin takes a big hit from Struble behind the net and into the boards there. And you could just see the frustration from the Habs, which is kind of funny. They did not like it. They lost the other night before this game 5-1 to LA. And so between the last two games, they've been trounced 12-1. That is rough. Embarrassing. So DeSmith makes one of the best saves of the year on a laterally sliding kick save on Demidov. And it's really interesting to see the dichotomy. DeSmith and Oettinger are two very, very different goalies. Different skill sets, different sizes. This is one of those saves that being the smaller goalie, DeSmith is much better at making than Oettinger. And just a really pretty save there. And we keep going. So Rantanen then on another play goes through several Habs, just so slippery, like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose. Hat tip to you, Razor, and gets 2 shots in goal. Nothing to show for it, but just an amazing play by Rantanen on that one. We then get a fight, the first one in forever. A fight, if you want to call it that. Probably they could have just given him 2 roughing minors on that one. Lyubushkin headlocks Zachary and kind of takes him to the ground. I didn't really see any punches that were thrown there. So it was probably for the best that the fight turned into a grappling match there, because Lyubushkin does not want any part of Zachary. No way, no how. So I'm glad that we didn't suffer another concussion on that one. And we get the fighting major, so we're off the schneid there. I'd like to see a real fight, but we'll take it. So then Anderson slashes Bichsel. Everybody's just upset at this point that they're getting trounced this way again. And this may have been a dive by Bichsel. Anderson then comes back to try to fight Bichsel, I think because he didn't like the dive. And then Harley comes to the rescue of a still down Bichsel. So maybe it wasn't a dive if he was still down for that long. But nonetheless, we get a power play out of the scrum. It was good to see our guys sticking up for one another. And, man, Josh Anderson, that is a player that I've always liked. That's the kind of player, not a Bastian, but a Josh Anderson. That's a strong player that fights. He's actually a right shot, which we have very, very few of on this team. He would be a player that would be chef's kiss perfect for our bottom 6. So maybe we can pick up somebody like that at the deadline or even before then. I'd really like to get this problem of a true scrapper wrecking ball solved sooner rather than later. But we got plenty of time. So anyway, Dallas gets the power play out of that scrum, and 7 minutes to go left in the game, and we've only given up 5 shots since that first period where we were outshot by so many, and we end up getting another goal to go up 7-0. This time it's Blackwell. It was kind of a fluky goal where Faksa is behind the net. I've said his name so many times here. He really just crushed it tonight. He chases the puck behind the net, chops at the puck, and it goes off a Habs stick and into the airspace in front of the net, where Blackwell, like an air traffic controller, knocks it out of air. Just an amazing hand-eye coordination play. And we get the last goal of the game, 7-0. At this point in the game, you're kind of tempted to just play the bottom 2 lines and your depth D for the rest of the game, but I understand why you don't. Part of you wants to maybe avoid some injuries, but then at the same time, you want the shutout for DeSmith. He's earned it. We play the game out strong, and DeSmith gets his shutout. With this win, Dallas passes the Ducks. Winnipeg loses on the night, so we now have a 5-point lead over Winnipeg, Utah, and Chicago, with all of them having one game in hand with us. So it might only be a 3-point lead, but that's still a pretty good a buffer that we're beginning to get there. Colorado beat Buffalo last night, so they stay 4 points ahead of us. And Dallas is now third in the league. We finish the trip against the Flyers and then the Isles. I hope that these aren't trap games coming off of the two better teams. Sometimes you can get caught a little bit off of your game. I hope that they don't do that and that we're able to extend this 4-game winning streak to 5 and 6 to bring it back home. I'll be bringing you more content as we get more publications and news. And in the meantime, y'all have a great day, and I appreciate y'all foilists for following along with me.